thing is
La Tierra es plana.
educated to translate the Hebrew and whatever to us.
Free information.
And we take their word for it. You know?
I had to unlearn.
You have to unlearn what they've told us. Exactly.
unlearn.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. There's no doubt about it.
I'll tell you about that concordant literal version. A. E. Knox wrote it. It took 40 years to translate from Greek into English.
Right. Okay.
You get a copy of it. It's concordant literal version. Concordant.
Free information. La Tierra es plana. Free information.
He spent 40 years
Just translating.
because he spoke English.
Free information. Earth is not a globe.
40 years of your life.
I don't know how you figured out from here.
Uh-oh. You got any questions?
He poked you to it last time you were here.
Ask me some questions, man. I got short videos and I can show you how everything works.
Alright, here.
All right. So this is what happens when this is introduced to a vacuum. So this is what would happen to a spaceship if it was actually in space.
So you're saying spaceships don't go to space?
Yeah. No one's ever been to space
How do you figure?
because that's what would happen.
Then what's the moon? How did they get to the moon?
No one's ever been to the moon.
How do you figure?
All right, let me ask you this. If you jump straight up in the air, what happens? You land in the same spot or you land farther away?
You fall because of gravity in the same spot.
Because of gravity and the atmosphere. So let's say when the astronauts jumped on the moon and there is no atmosphere and the moon's spinning at 15.4 feet per second, how'd they land in the same spot?
Well, they have technology for that.
What's the technology of just jumping up and down and landing in the same spot?
Well, why would they jump up and down?
Well, if you look back on the videos from the moon landing, they jumped and they land in the same spot. There is no atmosphere, so they're not traveling and rotating with the atmosphere, but the moon is still spinning at 15.4 feet per second.
So then, if they didn't go to the moon, then where were they?
In a studio. This is what the world looks like right here. We sent up a balloon to 120,000 feet. Earth is flat, the sun is close and localized. See how that works? Let me grab a couple props here and I'll show you a demonstration.
He's our spiritual leader. No? Would you risk
All right. So this is the Earth and this is the sun, correct? All right. This will be noon because it's facing the Earth, or because it's facing the sun. So it has to be noon. So on day one, it's dark and you're looking out at the constellations of this side of the universe. If this spins once every 24 hours, we're back to the same spot on day number 2. 180 days later, we're on this side of the sun, correct? The dark side's this way, and you're facing off looking at constellations on the opposite side of the universe. How is it that I can look up in the sky in June and in January and see the same constellations if we're facing different sides of the universe?
Well, about the space thing. So where do you think they go in the rocket? Like, cause
Right, I got a video of the rocket right here. They show you where they go.
it could make more positive, more negative, and it could move.
So you can look right here and you can see that's what they're doing. They go up, it's called a parabola.
That would be more.
They go up
than
and they come
sending
right back down.
a rocket up every, few minutes, right, of the day. Wouldn't you agree?
so they would go right back down. And
Right.
but then how do you figure that they have space stations and they live there for months?
But it's not. They're in low Earth orbit,
Let me rephrase it. The
250 miles up. They're not in space. They're just in low Earth orbit.
such as transmissions of, say, like
And they're orbiting the Earth like this. It's flat and stationary. And they circumnavigate it like this in this direction. That's why when you read Captain Cook's logs, when he went around the Earth to circumnavigate it, it took him 80,000 miles, and he had to keep course correcting north because he's going around this way.
It's round, but it's flat.
Right, it's still round. You can circumnavigate it, but it's flat. It's like a pizza. Antarctica's the crust.
I didn't understand this last time.
Satellites, what you call
When you
satellites.
get to the
They
end,
had
where do you go?
Well, you can't get to the end because you're just going in a circle like
How did
this.
they do that?
because you're using a globe model
I mean, how do they do that?
to circumnavigate, and that's why you're going like this. You know, on the globe you would never go down.
A lot of it was done through cable, but
No, it's not cable. What are you talking about? The guy with a backpack.
Why am I doing this?
And the phone.
Just to wake people up. No, I fund all this out of my own pocket, and just out here spreading the truth to the people.
I need to get my thought. I'm talking about the base phones, but to your point, you're talking about the radio.
So if you were to go straight
That's what we're
from
talking
here,
about.
But the radio man,
Right. So the Antarctic Treaty was formed in 1961, and it says no one can travel below the 60th south parallel, which is this right here.
because of the
Now you can go to Antarctica on a cruise or something, but they take you right here. This is called the Shetland Islands. It's right off the coast of Antarctica. That's where you go.
it was only half.
And they have penguins and stuff there, and they say, hey, you're in Antarctica. But if you look at the ship records, this is where they're going.
Satellites or any.
No, look it up. Look it
How
up.
about with the satellite up there when they look down?
But look
Right.
at the radio men.
But they use what's called a fisheye lens.
Private Ryan. I need. Yeah.
And when we send them up on balloons without a fisheye lens, we can see the Earth. It's flat and stationary, and the sun is close.
No.
Me, I'm past that.
that's on balloons, so it's not very reliable.
Well, it's still 120,000 feet up.
Around the field, you can only have one antenna so much.
So you're saying, so did the balloons get to the atmosphere? Is what you
Right, they're in low Earth orbit.
How would they not pop without like a heat shield from the?
Well,
I'm talking about talking back to the.
have you ever traveled, like, seen, let's say, a photo of like Mount Everest? You know, it's colder when you get up, so it's not harder. So you wouldn't need a heat shield, right?
So,
They'll relay that like that.
so they. So you're saying that for space, they put a heat shield for no reason? They just say that.
Right. They want this right here. It's $60 million a day. That's their budget.
To get that power back up, you have to.
So I could afford to put some heat tiles and fake it, stuff too. If you give me $60 million a day,
It's kind of like DirecTV.
I can use chroma key and I can use green screens and I can make you think whatever I want.
Here's the thing. One of your colleagues got in a pissing contest with me last week because I was
So
just like,
would
look,
you
I'm
be
out here.
convinced if you were to go onto a spaceship and you were to go on to moon, like the
Yeah,
rocket?
if I was up there and I could see for myself, and the evidence shows me the Earth is a globe, I'll believe it. But all the evidence and the tests that I do show that it's not a globe. Like I went down to Lake Marion,
Yeah.
and I set a camera up 3 feet off the surface of the water. 11 miles away on a post, I put a mirror 3 feet up. I went back to the camera, I zoomed in, and I could see the mirror. If the Earth curves at 8 inches per mile squared, which is the formula for the Earth, that should be hidden by 7 feet of curvature. But I can clearly not only see the mirror, I can see the entire post.
Yeah,
Once I find a flat spot on a sphere, it can no longer be a sphere.
it's okay. It's all right.
Yeah, that makes
Trying to
sense.
get her back
Yeah.
to this because she don't have her sweater. Calm down, sweetie. Anyway, what else to say? So Horizon is a
So a lot of people, so this is the model that you're taught in school right here. This is the heliocentric model.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Earth spins at over 1,000 miles an hour and then rotates around the sun at 66,000 miles an hour, while the sun rockets through the galaxy at 666,000 miles an hour. Meanwhile, the entire galaxy is moving through the universe at 2 million miles an hour in a fourth direction, yet we feel nothing.
So you know about the asteroids, right? Asteroids. So if you're saying that there's no what's it called? Where the heat,
Right, there's a firmament that separates the heavens from the earth, just like it says in the Bible in Genesis.
Yeah, I'm saying like how did the people say that when the asteroid hits like a certain part, it like catches on fire because of the heat. So how do you figure that there's not a heat thing?
So you have video of that.
Well, I mean,
No, that's just what mainstream science tells us because it just furthers the globe model.
That's why I wanted it.
when are you guys gonna be back here?
I'll be here next week. You want a free DVD?
But when I go there, over there, it cannot be fixed. You see what I'm saying?
I'll give you some free stuff here. Here's this.
Come to it. The horizon. You're just a mile.
Here's you some stickers.
I need 2 miles.
And here's a bunch of business cards you can throw all over your school.
I'll see you guys next week.
All right, man. Good to see you.
Saying that the Earth is flat. Why then have they not shown us?
¿Qué la verdad que es?
La Tierra es plana. I'm out here showing people the Earth is not a globe, that it's flat.
What?
Yeah, I have over 200 proofs. That's why we're giving away $200,000 to anybody that can prove the Earth is a globe, and no one can prove it because there is no evidence. The prize has been sitting out there for a while.
What?
You tell me why you think it's a globe.
I don't know, to be honest. I mean, do we really have other like continents around, like behind our main ones?
So this is what the Earth looks like right here, this model.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Right. So we're not allowed to go beyond Antarctica here because you can't travel below the 60th south parallel. The Antarctic Treaty from 1961 forbids that exploration.
So, I don't know.
Only scientists can go there. You can go there on cruises, but they take you to what's called the Shetland Islands, which is located right here, off the coast of Antarctica.
Antarctica continent.
That's why when you learn in school about Captain Cook's voyages, remember that when they're teaching about that, and he traveled 80,000 miles to circumnavigate the Earth.
We do.
It's because he went this way to circumnavigate, and it's 80,000 miles. But the circumference of the Earth on the globe model is only 24,000 miles. So why do you have to go 80-something thousand miles to get back where he started? And why do you have to keep course correcting north? Because he's traveling in a circle.
And like, there's many other people like you.
Yeah, there's many people like me. A lot of people. Like, just about everybody standing at this table right now believes the Earth is flat. And it's not really a belief. We know it's fact.
That's why I have an MBA. But anyway, you have MBA? Yeah. I have a.
So let me ask you this question. Let's say I pour water in a cup. What's the surface of the water? Is it flat or curved? All right. Let's say I put it in a bathtub. Is it flat or curved? Okay. A pond, a lake, a sea, always flat. If the Earth is 70% water, where is it bending? Because water doesn't bend. That's why you put water in a level. You put water in a level to level things because water's always level. It's called sea level. You know, words have meaning. Horizon, horizontal, a horizontal line.
No one's ever
I just never thought about the Earth like that.
Well, let me ask you this. Have you ever heard about flights going from like New York to LA? It takes 3.5 hours to fly from LA to New York. Now, if you get from New York back to LA, it's also 3.5 hours. But in one direction, you're spinning with the globe. The other direction, the globe's spinning the other way. So why is it the same amount of time?
Bruh, that's
like
Show me pictures of the end of the Earth, and then I'll.
Let me ask you this here. Let's say you jump in the air right now. Do you land in the same spot, or does the Earth spin away from you when you're in the air? Exactly, because the Glober explanation of that is the atmosphere moves with the, with the Earth, spin of the Earth and all. Okay, I'll give you that. Let's say that's true. But how come when they were on the moon and they jumped and there's no atmosphere, they land in the same spot still? The moon's traveling at 15.4 feet per second. So that proves that that's not the case.
Bill Nye in there? He's an actor too.
No, Bill Nye's a douchebag. He doesn't know his ass.
Oh, okay.
But no one's been to the moon anyway, so you don't even have to worry about that. It was all filmed in the studio.
No, he doesn't. It's a
Yeah.
mechanical engineer.
So when they landed on the moon and they have video of them landing,
Yeah, he's in it.
who was holding the camera? How'd the camera get there?
I'm agreeing with him.
And Neil deGrasse Tyson.
When the president called him on the phone, he was on a landline, a phone with a cord on it.
Yeah.
So what, the cord went all the way to the moon and he was talking to him?
Okay, so's the girl on. So's the girl.
It's a landline. He wasn't on a cell phone.
Which one?
Wow.
Sheldon's girlfriend.
something new every day.
Now when they took off in the lunar module and left the moon, you see video of that? So what they say, oh man, great take guys, we got some good video of that. Let's go back and get the camera and then do it again.
I'll tell you why.
So how'd they get the footage?
If you will let me finish my sentence, I will let you do the same with
Sure,
yours.
go ahead. Sure, go ahead.
Everything I'm
was a
telling
shuttle
you, you're just
mission
going and
thing.
skipping to something else. Why can't we stay on
It just went
topic
up there
and
and
just
that's
talk
it.
about it?
Right, it goes up in a parabola like this when they launch, and it just looks like they're going up, but they're not. They curve back down and land over in the ocean, and where they're picked back up again and brought
The
back.
fact that the Earth is not flat.
I don't have to prove anything. The model that they have is spherical, not a spherical Earth.
Okay,
So you gotta like
pictures that we
explain
see in space
why it's flat. Like
generated,
So science says the Earth's a globe. Explain to me, prove to me the Earth's a globe, because I have over 200 proofs the Earth is not. So the burden of proof is not on me. The burden of truth is on me. There's a reason why when you go to school and you pick up a globe, if they haven't peeled the sticker off, the bottom of every globe says not for educational use, decorative purposes only, because it's not real.
yeah.
In other words, you can keep in the background.
Have you ever seen the back of the moon? Nobody.
All right, man. Just, here's some stuff to look at. You can take with you. This is what jet streams would look like on a globe. This is what they look like on a flat Earth with the azimuth equidecimal map, which is what that is. Which makes more sense to you? That things travel like this or things travel like this?
What is semantics?
Yeah, like this.
What is semantics?
The sun's rays, crepuscular rays here.
Semantics is word.
See how they're close and localized? They go back to a source, the sun's rays.
No, sir.
If the sun was 93 million miles away,
They're not the same.
the rays wouldn't look like
A
that.
photograph is
That's
not
true.
an image of what they use for that thing.
How about I do you better? I give you a DVD too. Free DVD.
What guy?
Then I give you some stickers. You can tell people what you learned.
You know, I don't.
And I'll give you some cards that you can spread around your school. Teach people what you learned today.
Okay, the moon, you see only one side.
Divide these up between yourselves.
It's supposed to be turning. How come
Spread
we
them
never see
around.
the other side of it?
Copernicus proved that.
Thank you.
Sir, I asked you a question, you throwing out the Copernicus. If it's a ball and they say it's turning, how come we never see